Hi dear students, today I am going to discuss the chapter cell structure and its functions. So, first we can just look at the objectives of this chapter. What are the things we are going to learn in this chapter? First one is discovery of the cell, the historical part of the discovery of cell. And second one is what is a cell and variations in number of cells, shape and size of the cell among different organisms, because all the organisms are not in the same size, or all the organisms are not made up of same number of cells or same type of cells. And the next one is we are going to learn the cell structure and functions. After cell structure and functions, we will learn parts of the cell. That means cell is not a single object. It has different components called cell organelles. We will discuss some important cell organelles. And finally, we will compare the plant cell and animal cells, because animals are heterotrophs and plants are autotrophs. So there will be a significant difference between the cells of animals and the plant cells. So let's start with the discovery of cell. The scientist named Robert Hooke in 1665 observed a cork slice under a simple magnifying device. What is a cork? Cork is a cell or dead cell present on the bark of the tree, that means on the outer covering of the tree. So he observed this outer covering under a simple magnifying device. He took a small slice of the cork cell and observed under a simple magnifying device, which can be a simple magnifying lens. He noticed partition compartment or boxes in the cork cells, so that the entire cork slice is divided into small compartment and boxes partitioned by a wall, so that each compartment is called a cell. Now, as I already told that Robert Hooke observed slice of cork under a simple magnifying device. That means cells cannot be observed by a naked eye. So we need a certain device to observe cells. So that is simply we are going to discuss. Okay. So what is a microscope? A microscope is a device to form a magnified image of a small object. So as we know that cells are microscopic, to magnify the image of cell, we need microscope. There are different types of microscopes based on different working principles. Mainly we are using optical microscope, which are working based on the principle of light. So here there are three microscopes we can take. There are many examples of compound microscope, then simple microscope. Here we can see the first picture is simple magnifying lens. So this simple magnifying lens means simple convex lens. Second one is that simple microscope. Simple microscope means which also consists of a single lens, but it has some apparatus to keep the specimen and to observe the image. And finally, compound microscope. Compound microscope means compound microscope consists of two lenses. One is eyepiece and objective. These are the two types of microscope, simple and compound microscope. Generally, compound microscopes are used in laboratory to observe cells. Next, as we learned that a single cork slice consists of millions of cork compartments called cells. So that cell is a building blocks of a living organisms. Cells are the building blocks of all the living organisms. To show this, we can take an example of a wall. Here look at this wall made up of small bricks. And these small bricks are arranged in a particular manner to form a wall. So this brick is a building block of this wall. Similarly, here this is an image which is we will get when we observe an onion peel under a compound microscope. We will get this image. So here in this structure, we can see that the entire onion peel is partitioned into boxes by a wall. That means each box is called a cell. And you can see that there is a dot, a circle in each compartment. That is a nucleus of the cell. We will discuss later in the section of parts of the cell. Next, number of cells. As we know that in all the organisms do not have same size, so there will be a difference in their number of cells present in their bodies also. There will be a difference in the number of cells present in their bodies. So based on this number of cells present in the organisms are classified into two categories. They are unicellular and multicellular organisms. What are multicellular organisms? Multicellular organisms are made of more than one cell are called multicellular organisms. Animals, humans, birds, these all are examples of multicellular organisms because our body is made up of billions or trillions of cells. So we are belong to multicellular organisms. And next, unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms, we can from the word itself we can understand that uni means a single. Organisms made of single cell are called unicellular organisms. Multi means more than one that we discussed. So this is the examples of unicellular organisms are bacteria, amoeba. Most of the microorganisms are unicellular organisms. What are the characteristics of unicellular organisms? A single-celled organisms perform all the necessary functions that a multicellular organism performs. That means, what are the functions a multicellular organism perform? All functions will be performed by a single cell in case of unicellular organisms. A single-celled organisms like amoeba performs capturing of food, digestion of food, respiration, excretion, and reproduction. So these all functions will be performed by a single cell amoeba. Similar functions in multicellular organisms are performed by a specialized group of cells forming tissues. Okay, those all things you will learn in the later classes. And here you can see the pictures of some examples of unicellular organisms. Amoeba, paramecium, bacteria. These are all unicellular organisms. Next, the shape of the cells present in an organisms. Different cells have different shape depending upon the functions that they perform. So, the shape of the cell is not related or not depend on the size of the organism or shape of the organism. It is purely depend on the function that particular cell performs. Generally, cells are round, spherical, and elongate. Some cells are long and pointed at both ends, exhibiting spindle shape. So here we can see the RBC. RBC is a round. RBC is an example of round cell. Okay, this red color cell is given in the picture, that is RBC. And here you can see that this one is spindle shaped muscle cell. Okay, some cells are long and while some are branched. For example, nerve cells. Here you can see the picture of nerve cell. This is a nerve cell. Here you can see that these all portions are the portions of the center. These head portions of the nerve cell is branched. Different branch you can see because its function is to carry or to receive and to transmit the stimuli from different part of the body to the brain. So the shape of this nerve cell is because of its function. Clear? It is long and branched. So why it is long and branched? Because it need to form a network to transfer the messages from different part of the body to the brain. So the shape of the cell is depending upon the function that the particular cell perform. Shape of the cell is also provided by the cell wall present in plant cell. Because in plant cell, one more additional part is that cell wall. It is an outer covering of cell. Okay, so for a cell, for plant cell wall provide the shape. In animal cell, there is no cell wall. We will discuss in detail in the later session about the cell wall and the cell membrane. I already said that a unicellular organism perform all the necessary functions that a multicellular organism perform. So We can take an example in case of amoeba. How do amoeba capture food? So here you can see the picture. When food particles comes near to the amoeba, what will happen? Its shape get elongated or projected outward. Okay, so that projected to portion you can call as pseudopodia. And after once the food particle enter inside, it will cross it and form a vacuum. Then finally the digestion process and excretion process will take. So when the food particle comes, the amoeba changes its shape. Projections of varying length protruding out of the body. That part is called pseudopodia. So pseudopodia is the part which helps for the capturing as well as the movement of the amoeba. When the amoeba moves, this changes shape will be changes continuously. Okay, so this is called a pseudopodia. So what is a pseudopodia? Pseudopodia means false feet. Pseudo means false and podia means feet. Pseudopodia means projections of varying length protruding out of the body is called a pseudopodia. Next topic is the size of the cell. How the size of the cells vary among different organisms. Size of the cells are also varying among different organisms. So size of the cells as small as a millionth of a meter or maybe as large as a few centimeter. So from a micrometer to the range of centimeter, that variations. That is the range of size of the cells in different organisms. Most of the cells are microscopic and are not visible by unaided eye. That means we need microscope to observe such types of cells. Most of the cells means cells of human body are microscopic. So we need a microscope to observe it. The smallest cell is 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer as in bacteria. This is the in case of smallest cell. And the largest cell measuring is that 170 millimeter into 130 millimeter. That is the ostrich egg. You can see this in this picture, a comparison between ostrich egg and a hen's egg. Hen's egg is too much small compared to the ostrich egg. So that is the largest cell present in the world, ostrich egg. And after discussing all this, we can conclude that the size of the cell of an organism do not depend on the size of the body of that organism. If that, then the largest cell should be the cell of an elephant or a blue whale. But the largest cell is the ostrich egg. So we can conclude is the size of the cell do not depend on the size of the organism. It depends on the function. So size, shape, these two are depend on the function of the cell perform. Clear? That is a very important thing we need to remember it. With all this, I am going to conclude today. In the next session, I will continue the same chapter. In the next session, I will discuss parts of the cells. Okay? Thank you all.